Welcome to the Business of Apparel podcast. This is the place to learn how to start and scale your own apparel brand and fill it with loyal customers for years to come. I'm your host, Rachel Erickson, owner and CEO of Unmarked Street, and I can't wait to share this episode with you. Welcome back to the Business of Apparel podcast, where today I wanted to calm things down just a little bit and talk about change and transition. Now, one of the biggest pleasures that I have of being able to share with you on this podcast is that as I go through my entrepreneurship journey, becoming a CEO, becoming a better leader, becoming a better manager, figuring out the ins and outs of growing my very own company, I get to share all of my great learnings with you kind of in real time, right? Like it's really great that I'm able to just sit down, tell you exactly what I'm going through today, and then you get access to it immediately. So right now in September of 2025, I have been going through a ton of different change and transition, not just in business, but also in life. And I think there comes a point where a lot of us, when we're going through so much change and transition and things are growing and the things that we were wishing for are starting to actually happen, but they don't manifest in the exact way that we expected because it never does, we tend to find ourselves feeling a little bit overwhelmed, right? Change can be hard in so many different ways. And there are some people who deal with change really, really well. And there are some people who do not deal with change very well. But I have been noticing on my team quite a bit recently, just all of the different fluctuating that we've been doing in the way of acquiring clients and coming off of contracts and putting new processes in place and writing our standing operating procedures on a regular basis and kind of working in a different way. I've been noticing a little bit of overwhelm from everybody on my team. I've been noticing just a little bit of burnout from everybody on my team. And I include myself in that. There's definitely been a lot of overwhelm present in my life, a little bit of burnout. I really, really need to take some time, I think, to rest coming up here. But things have just been going a mile a minute. And when things feel like they're changing constantly and you're just always in that transitionary period, even every single day feels just a little bit like a struggle. And so I just wanted to give a few little signs that you might notice with you and your team. If you're going through some changes, it's really, really positive for you to sit kind of in that overwhelm a little bit. And one thing that I really loved, I was given some great advice a few years back to not say, I'm overwhelmed, right? Like, I am not overwhelmed. Overwhelm is present in my life right now. This is something that is here. It's sitting with me. It is not who I am. It is not what I am right now. And the words that we use when we talk about emotions like that can be really, really important. So usually when I'm talking about these kinds of things, I'm not talking about I'm not overwhelmed, but there is overwhelm present in my life at this moment. There is stress present in my life at this moment, but I'm not stressed. I don't describe myself that way. And so I'm noticing that with my team, right? There's a little bit of like snippiness. Sometimes that happens. There's a little bit of, I don't think I can do that, which is never something my team members say. All of a sudden they're feeling overwhelmed. There's overwhelm present in their lives. There's overwhelm present in their jobs. And so instead of just proceeding in the way that they always are, like our values are honesty, reliability, and knowledge, right? So reliability being so big for us means that my team, when I come to them with a challenge or with something new or something to pivot on or something that we didn't expect, 9 times out of 10, they are very, very good about saying, we got this. Let's go. We're going to take this. We're going to run with it. This maybe wasn't what we expected, but we're going to figure it out. So when I see them coming to me saying, I don't know if I can handle this. This is a lot for me. This feels like too much. When I hear those kinds of words from my team, and it's great that we're communicating about this stuff, always, always encourage your team to be open with you about these things. But when I hear those words, it means it's not just me, although it might mean that me as the leader, as I'm feeling overwhelmed, it might mean that I'm projecting some of that. It might mean that I'm putting that out into the team and it's kind of making them feel the same way, right? Like a lot of this comes top down. So when you're the manager, when you're the leader, when you're the mentor, and you're coming in with a certain energy, it's not all positive energy. Today, I'm really overwhelmed. Today, I'm really stressed. Today, I'm feeling really burnt out. If you're saying those things and you're using that language, right? You're describing yourself as those things. you are going to portray that in a very big way for your team. And it's not surprising then when they come to you and they're feeling very similarly, or they're feeling the exact same way. So how do I handle this as the leader of my business? Number one, honesty. Honesty even rises above reliability, which is kind of unheard of because reliability for me and my team is everything. But I put honesty even above that. I want to be transparent with my team. I want to be transparent with you. I want to be transparent with my clients. I want to be transparent with as many people as I possibly can. Honesty is the way to go. I absolutely believe that if you are someone who can't live in honesty, you are just going to reap those karmic rewards of lying and cheating people out of money and stealing and whatever it is that you're doing dishonestly. It's just going to come back to you. So I really, really encourage my team to communicate openly, but that does leave the door open when that communication isn't always positive. We're not optimistic every day, right? Like not every day can be sunshine and rainbows and flowers. Some days we have hard days. And so when I come in and I'm talking about, this client is doing some stuff that we weren't expecting, we're going to have to increase our hours, which makes me feel a little bit more stressed. There's a lot more stress in my life because of this. On the personal side, I'm dealing with a couple of different emotional things. I'm going through a very big transition right now in my mental health personal therapy. There's a bit of a breakthrough that we're making right now for me, and it's hard. Those kinds of breakthroughs, when you go through it, especially in therapy, and I've been with my therapist for over 5 years. She and I have been exploring a lot about my personality, about me, about my past, about my future that I want, about my family, about my friends. Like there's so much that she knows about me. And so for us to be making a really big breakthrough right now, it's quite significant. And it's been something else on my plate to add on top of the change that's happening in our business. And my husband and I are getting ready for another move. We've purchased a home. And so we're going to be moving out of our rental. And there's quite a bit going on that is making the overwhelm feel like it's stacking up. And so when I come to work and I've got all of that on my shoulders, maybe, I'm sure my transparency and my openness, because again, that's important to me, gets relayed to the team. So the question is, as a leader, is that the right way to behave with your team? Or are there some things that you should hold back? Should you actually maybe fake some of that stuff when you're having a hard day, or you're feeling like there's overwhelm present or there's stress present? Should you kind of push that to the side and put a smile on your face and help your team not to feel any of that from you? There is no right or wrong answer here because everybody's team is going to be a little bit different. Everybody's leadership style is going to be quite a bit different. But I will tell you, it's really, really important for me to open the door so that my team feels comfortable telling me when they're also feeling that overwhelm, when that stress is present in their life too. Because if I don't portray that ever to them, and I've always got a smile on my face and every day is always optimistic and we're always looking on the bright side of things, and this might feel hard, but it's so good for the company. Like if I'm always rah, let's cheer for everything, it might discourage them from feeling like they can come to me and tell me when things aren't going quite so well. And while I don't advocate that everybody should have to tell me everything, I do absolutely, as the leader of my company, want to know when things are feeling harder than they should. Because I want to be able to nip that in the bud before anybody feels like they need to leave, before they need to quit, before they need time off, before they can't handle the work anymore, before they feel like they're completely burned out and they have to walk away. I am building a company so scrappy right now, and I know so many of you are too. And when we do that, we put members on our team who are so, so crucial to keep. As an entrepreneur, it's really, really interesting, right? It's kind of the flip side of corporate, where when you work in corporate, everybody who surrounds you is someone who, for better or worse, just the corporate scenario is they could be replaced. When you're in corporate, you should know that too. If you work in corporate, the mentality in those kinds of big companies, the bigger companies where, you've got the benefits, you've got the salary, you've got, 100 of other people working in the same building as you. Unfortunately, their mentality is that you can be replaced. And so if you decide to quit or you decide to leave or something doesn't work out and they need to let you go or fire you, they're okay with that. They will still survive. Are you sick of being stuck on the sidelines of the apparel industry and you just want to be put in the game? Then join our 100% free workshop, Secrets Behind Billion-Dollar Apparel Brands, and learn the strategies, tactics, and secrets used by the most successful companies in the world. We'll cover everything from setting your brand standards to big brand line planning and executive level processes. In this workshop, you're going to learn how to name your target customer, rationalize your line, calculate product margins, roll up your revenue, and see potential profits while figuring out how to build a unique calendar for your brand. You're going to learn that and so much more. Are you ready to take your apparel business to the next level? Sign up today and use code PODCAST for a 10% discount on the full Business of Apparel online course or any of our mini courses after the workshop. Visit www.thebusinessofapparel.com/secrets to register. Don't miss out. Entrepreneurship is very, very different in a way that, like, when you bring people onto your team as the leader and the owner of a very small company, especially when there's like 3 or 4 people inside the company, every single person contributes on such a high level. And most people are having to span across different departments, do different tasks, get involved in so many different ways. The people that you curate inside your small business are basically not losable. They are not people that you have the luxury of leaving you. And that's where I'm at with my company too. If any of the people that I had on my team decided that they couldn't do it anymore, or they got too burnt out, or the stress was way too present in their life because of something that I had put on their plate, I would not survive as a business. Let's just say that right now. My employees, my contractors, my team, the people who come and help me here at the Business of Apparel on Unmarked Street are the backbone of this company. Yes, I've built it and it's my ideas and it's me out here with my face to you, giving you the advice and actually telling you all about the things that we know as a group. But without them, we would not have the success that we've had. We would not be able to do the work that we've done and that we do. And so it is crucial for me to give them the space to be able to speak to me openly and honestly. And so that is what I mirror to them. So when I come to the table, and I do have overwhelm present in my life, where we've got a lot of change going on. We've got a lot of clients who have come in this year. We've got a couple of contracts that have ended this year. We've decided to start really, really ramping up efforts for our membership, which means every single person on the team is starting to reach out to people on our list. Everybody's got emails and direct messaging and all different kinds of things that is now on their to-do list that wasn't there before. But it's because it's so important for us to start serving more and more people with the knowledge that we have, the support that we can give. We're seeing the results of the people who are already in our membership. We need to do it for more people. We need to touch more brands. We need to be able to help more brand owners instead of watching them all close doors. Right? It is so heartbreaking to continue watching apparel brands shut down, close doors, stop selling inventory when we know we could have helped. So we have to get the word out there. We have to start doing better about that because there's so much that we can offer. And if our community doesn't know about it, that's our fault, right? That's my fault if my community doesn't know that I can help them. So that's something new that's happening in our company. That's a new change. That's a new transition. We have a new mission. It's a big deal. It's a lot of extra work that people aren't used to doing. And so I actually kind of go against the grain where I know there's a lot of people out there kind of saying, the attitude of the founder, the attitude of the leader is what then permeates into the rest of the team. And if you want your team to remain positive and optimistic and moving forward in the right direction, you as the leader have to portray that even on your worst days. I actually believe that being open, being honest invites openness and honesty back to you as the leader because that is so crucial. If you're a big enough company or you're a manager somewhere where you don't need your employees or your team members to be 100% honest with you all the time so that you can make sure they're happy, they're taken care of. If there's something that's not working out for them, you're going to brainstorm with them until we figure it out so that it does work, because I need you to stay. If you are not in that place, then you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but you must be willing to put yourself out there just a little bit if you want your team to do the same back to you. So I invite you to always kind of evaluate what is going on in your company. How is the vibe? How are people feeling? Are people's tones changing a little bit? It could mean that you're also going through a transition. Now, whether transition is good or whether transition is bad, kind of is depending on what that transition is for you. What are the changes? Are you losing business? Are you not making sales? Or are you growing and scaling a little bit too fast? Those are all changes in transitions. It's just that some of them are good and some of them are bad. And either one of them, I'm learning, can be very, very difficult for a team to handle. Even those instances where you're scaling and you're making more money than you expected, all of a sudden you got a big deal and now you've got more revenue coming in. You know, it's that saying like more money, more problems, right? And that is true. Sometimes when you're making more money, it means that you've got to figure out how to pay for more hours. Maybe that's coming at the cost of your time. Maybe you're getting paid more, but you are actually having to put more effort in to make that money. Maybe you, as a fashion brand owner, you are making more money and now your inventory is depleting faster than you expected. So what are you going to do because you're out of stock on a whole bunch of different stuff? There are different ways in which to handle all of these different transitions and all of these different changes, but just recognizing it, keeping an eye out for it, keeping your ear to the ground so that you're listening to your team, you're recognizing when things start to have those little shifts, people start to come to you with concerns, people start to come to you with language that you're not used to them hearing. It's a really good time for you to recognize that you're in a period of change and a period of transition and address it. Let your team know that you know. I know as the CEO of this company that we are going through a big transition right now. I recognize that this is not easy for anybody here, but I thank you for the time that you're putting in. I appreciate all of the work that you're doing for the company, and we will get through this. We will get through this as a team. And then that's when you go to work from there, right? That's where you start putting plans in place. If you've got standard operating procedures already, this is where you come back to them and make sure that you are at the foundation of your business and you're implementing things on time. You are doing things in a standard way. Take it back down to the basics. When things are changing and you're going through transition and people are having a hard time and overwhelm is present, take it back to the basics. Go back to the foundation. Remember why you're doing what you're doing, and then get to work. And that's what we're doing here at Unmarked Street in the Business of Apparel. We have been touching base every single week on all the different changes that are happening. I am talking to each of my individual team members every single week. We're having team meetings every single week. There's just so much going on. It is not worth it to drop the ball on my end. It's not worth it for me to lose somebody or to have somebody get too stressed out or too burnt out. It is more important for me to make sure that I have every single person's advice, every single person's concerns and questions coming into me on a regular basis so that we can go back to our foundations too. I can help them get through the day, get through the week, and then we're going to move into the next one, right? Like, how do I help you get through today? How do I help you get through this week? And then we'll regroup again next week. And sometimes that feels like a lot, but it can be very, very necessary. So there are great ways to move through transition, to move through change. And I also want you to recognize that as business owners, when we go through change and transition, even if they're really difficult ones, let's say they're the bad ones, right? Where we're losing sales or we're losing customers or we're losing the biggest account that we've ever had. There are so many lessons and learnings that you can take in those moments. These are the times of growth for your company. These are the times of the biggest learning for your company. And even when it feels hard and there's a lot of overwhelm present, I want you to recognize that and I kind of want you to celebrate it. And that might sound really counterintuitive, like, I can't even breathe. I just feel like there's so much going on right now. Celebrate it. Put a smile on your face and recognize that the hardship that you're going through today, this change, this transition, is going to get you leaps and bounds ahead of where you would have been if you hadn't gone through this change, if you hadn't gone through this hard time, if you hadn't have had to learn these lessons right now. So there's a celebration in that too. If you've been going through a bit of a change and transition, like I know many of you have here in 2025, I would love to hear from you about it. Put comments below the video here in YouTube if you are watching here in YouTube. If you felt that this episode was great and someone else might love it, please share it with them. Thank you so much for being here with me this week. We are going to go take a relaxing weekend ahead. As we've been going through all of this change, all of this transition, that is something else too. Take care of yourself. Take care of your team. Take care of yourself. When you need to rest, rest. I'm about to go do the same. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Business of Apparel podcast. I would so appreciate hearing your thoughts on the show. And if you know someone who could benefit from it, please share it with them. My biggest desire is to help other apparel professionals understand the nuances of our industry so we can all work toward making better product for a better world. If you would like to connect further, I'd love to invite you to send me a message through my website, thebusinessofapparel.com, where I do weekly trainings through my YouTube video channel, a weekly newsletter, blog articles, and so many more resources to help you start and scale a profitable apparel brand. This podcast is produced by Box 7 Media, who I cannot speak highly enough of. If you're looking to start your own podcast, you can reach out to Jeremy at Box 7 Media on LinkedIn anytime.